Thanks for helping. Welcome back to Thursday night weekly tasting flight with Silt Wine Company. We are in the Silt Wine Company studios, formerly our tasting room. I'm Phil Ogilvie. This is my twin brother, David Ogilvie.
Hey, everyone.
Great to be back. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you for purchasing these flights, for having fun with us every week, and we hope you have a great time. David, why don't you get started opening these wines if they're not open? We got a head start here. So today we're going to be talking about our Burgundy Flight. Our Burgundy Flight with a twist. It's not exactly everything from Burgundy, obviously. All of our wines are here in Clarksburg. And we're going to learn a little bit about our Valdiguié, all right, and its history in Clarksburg. We've got a special friend joining us that I'm so excited is going to be on air with us today and wants to see you all. And we have some awesome segments sprinkled throughout the show as well today. So, how to participate. We love it when you participate. It's always so helpful. First of all, if you haven't done so already, grab the tasting notes off of our website. Just go to our website, siltwineco.com, the same place where you bought these flights or you're going to buy next week's flight. And then if you go to the page for the Burgundy Flight, you'll see the tasting notes on that page, and all the other flights have their own tasting notes. Also, engage with us. Ask questions. We're going to do an even better job at answering questions. Shannon's going to be helping us answer those she's going to be on the video answering questions as you go, as you answer them, and you see her there every week, of course. And then go ahead and do us a huge favor and share this video. In fact, share it right now. Share it when it's live. Share it to your friends. Share it to the groups that you belong in. That helps us share Clarksburg. You're actually participating in our mission to help people enjoy Clarksburg as much as we do. So, David, I've talked way too much. I've talked too much without a glass of wine in my hand. Cheers to another great tasting, another week. Let's start talking about these wines with the lead is the Chardonnay.
Yeah, so first of all, if you're wondering why we're calling it our Burgundy series or Burgundy Flight, it's because the two main wines in Burgundy are Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And we say our Burgundy series with a twist because we threw in our Rosé, which we'll get to, and I'll explain all the reasons why I decided to go ahead and put that in there. So our first wine is our award-winning double gold San Francisco Chronicle tasting double gold Chardonnay. And Chardonnay is just growing so well in Clarksburg. We've been growing it for years. And this particular Chardonnay came from our good friend James Joe Haas's vineyard. He and his wife are just love their vineyard, and they are tending to it every year. And we love these grapes. It's a
right
Wente
there
clone
on the Sacramento River.
Right on the Sacramento River. If you come across the Freeport Bridge, going towards Clarksburg to the sugar mill, their vineyard is right on the right hand side. It's not on the left. That'd be the river. Anyway, so this was the way this was fermented is in stainless steel. But then I make two different batches. One I preserve in stainless steel, and I do that to keep that freshness, that fruitiness. And then the other batch I put in oak, in oak and neutral oak, and in new French oak. And that allows me to have some control over how much oak component I want to have in the final wine. So this wine is a 70-30 blend of those two parts. You might question which one's 70. Well, if you know me, you know my winemaking style, the 30% is the oaked Chardonnay. And of that oak component, it's not 100% new oak. So really we're looking at a 15 to 17% new French oak component to this Chardonnay.
It's amazing how 15% oak, new French oak, can make that much of a difference too. I mean, it really comes across strong.
Well, it's I would beg to differ.
Yeah.
I don't think it comes across all that strong at all. I think you're really getting a lot of nice fruit aromatics, pear, mango, a little ripe apple, and a little maybe apricot kind of thing going on. and then that oak component, just that hint of oak brings along this kind of spice, a little bit of spice to it. I'm thinking, and maybe in pie crust kind of thing where you think of like what did Mom always make? She make that apricot cobbler. Oh man, that stuff.
Or strudel. Was it strudel?
Apple strudel?
I don't know.
I remember the cobbler.
Mom, if you're watching, and I know you are, go ahead and comment and let us know. Hey, Amiska, I think is her name. Amiska, I miss it, flew by there. She was asking about mallow. Is there mallow process in there? Mallow fermentation?
So in the oak side, I did mallow. Great question. I did 100% malolactic fermentation. That means that it's changed that malic acid into lactic acid, and by doing it, it increases the pH slightly, so it softens the wine. Now after that process is done, we add a little bit of SO2 so that when we blend the wines together, we're not going to get all of a sudden a malolactic fermentation and the other 70% component that's unoaked. So overall, you're getting just a touch of that buttery diacetyl character that malolactic fermentation provides. Great question. Someone who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, I just got intimidated.
Educated.
I know you didn't get intimidated. I got intimidated by that question. Mallow, I mean, great question. The smart one is in the room. Okay, I got a question here. I was prepped for it, but the Chardonnay is the only wine in the Silt lineup, a white wine in the Silt lineup that has a cork. Save the sparklings, of course. But let's talk about that. I mean, we really like the screw cap, but we really wanted to make sure we put a cork in the Chard. Let's talk about that.
So you'll notice on all of our whites and the Rosé, we have it in screw cap except for the Chardonnay, and that was by design. The Chardonnay is the only white right now that actually was put on new oak. And we kind of made a decision that if we're putting it on oak, we're going to use we're going to use a cork, and we're using the highest high-end corks to really make sure we don't have any cork taint issues, that sort of thing. And that's why every winemaker for these wines you're going to drink right away, and they like the freshness of a screw cap that the screw cap can provide. But if you're making a wine that's a little more serious, not to say these aren't serious, but if you're making a wine that you might want to age a little bit, like our Chardonnay, or that's been in oak, and is at the price point that we're selling at out of the tasting room, which is $28, I think it's okay to have a cork in there, and is honestly it's expected. So we went ahead and went in that direction. So and it will, the way, if I put this in a screw cap, the wine won't change as much over time. And over time, you're going to, with the micro-oxygenation that happens through the cork, this wine, the acidity will soften up a little bit. You'll get some more aged fruit characters, kind of lending towards sherry, but not all the way sherry. That wouldn't be appropriate.
I mean, we usually
honey characters.
Usually, especially in our AVA, people are buying wines to drink. I mean, what is it, like 97%? You're our data guy. 97% of wine that's purchased is consumed within 24 hours, something like that, or within the week.
Yeah, and a high percentage.
High percentage. Maybe it's not 97, but if we would age this Chardonnay, I mean, what do you think? You shared what would happen, but how long do you think this Chardonnay can age? Because I mean, the acid is strong here. It seems like you could age this for a while.
That's one of the main things you need if you're going to age a white wine. Is you need the wine to start out with a good acid balance. So you don't want something that's a 3.7 pH. This one is just under 3.5. It's 3.47 pH. I think I have it written down. 3.49 pH. So that's in when you're under 3.5 there, I think you can have the wine age a little better. So as the wine ages, if it doesn't have that acidity, it'll get more kind of flabby.
What does flabby taste like? I've never learned what flabby tastes like. If you know what flabby tastes like,
flabby just means that you lose you lose the acid. I don't know how to describe it. But,
okay. Hey, let's talk real quick before we move on. The terroir of Clarksburg. I love the terroir. We talk about the terroir of Clarksburg all the time because it really is something unique and special. And of course, this terroir influences the way we grow Chardonnay, and the soils and the silt soils of Clarksburg we've talked about, and tell us, what does the terroir do for this Chardonnay that might be different with Napa or Sonoma even? I mean, not that these are.
Well,
what's different?
So we are, in general, you talk about heating units, and in heating units, this might get a little technical, but we do tend to have a little more heating units in Clarksburg than Napa and Sonoma, especially Sonoma. But then we cool down just like they do in the evenings, and we have our Delta breeze that cools us down. And so we have the ability to have wines that have this good acidity, but still have the heating units to ripen and get these really aromatic fruit components to the wine. If you look at a graph of average daily temperatures, we're actually right on par. Clarksburg is right on par with Napa, but I think we get warmer maybe in the morning, earlier in the morning than they do. So our heating units are actually a little higher.
I think that's super interesting. I'm sorry if that was too technical, but I thought that was great. Thank you for sharing that. And I would say that probably influences the way you make your wine. You don't want to hide or mute those tropical flavors and that fruit-forward wines by covering it with a ton of oak.
Yeah,
right?
And that's as a grape grower, I always say I want to show off the fruit, not the oak barrel. So
let's see here. I missed on a few of these questions. Do we have any other questions here? Maybe we'll jump back and get some other questions here in a little bit. But let's move on. We've got a new segment that I want to share that is fun, and I'm calling it, well, that's awesome. It's going to be a fun little segment that we do because we want to share some of this good news. I'm sure you've seen some of the good news that's going around. I thought this would be a fun way to share some good news with a new segment called, well, that's awesome. So why don't we, I got to scoot David out of the way here, and we're going to bring in my guest here that I know a lot of people have been dying to see for so long. It's been a while.
It's been a long time. I miss you, everyone that's watching, just so that you know. The best part of my job is being in this tasting room and watching members and guests for the first time walk in and have an experience here, and for me to get to know you. So thank you for watching. In a huge way, this has filled my heart because I feel like we're still connecting with you. We're still being able to reach you and connecting in a different way. And I can't wait for the tasting room to be open. And I just have to say, after this is all over, I might give every single person that walks in a huge hug. So just prepare yourself for that. You might get tackled.
Free hugs from Shannon. Yeah. Coming your way as soon as we open up.
We really do miss you guys, and we hope you and your families are doing well.
Let's get a little bit personal with you, and how have you been handling this shutdown? And I mean, you can't see everybody and all, but like your job is entirely changed, and as well as our staff. Like, share a little bit about that.
Yeah.
And kudos to the staff.
It's changed a lot, but yeah, I would say that first of all, I have to say I'll speak for my staff as well, for our staff as well, that we are missing you, but we have transitioned into a way that we can continue to still serve you, or we're trying to continue to still serve you. And so a big part of it has been with this flight series, with the live tasting series, the home delivery, and that's been the biggest joy for me. And I know Gail and Mackenzie and Teresa have been a part of that too. We have staff that are bagging all of the flights that you get. So there were 40-something flights that were bagged this week, that were bagged safely, that were disinfected, were ready, and then we had 2 staff members and myself go and deliver all of those flights to you. And those moments where I get to knock on your door, I get to back up, and then I get to see your face for a split second has been incredibly joyful for me. So I feel like that's been the tasting room kind of brought to you and brought to me at the same time. And so I feel like our job has changed, but we're still out there, and we're still ready to connect with you. So
that's great. So you shared a story with me earlier that actually prompted this new segment, which I think this is going to quickly become one of my favorite segments. I don't know, David's history stuff is pretty cool too, but we want to do this segment called Well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me an awesome story.
We have a few. I'm excited. And we have some for next week too, so you have to tune in next week. But for this week, it's fun when people make orders. I get the privilege of being able to see all the different notes and the comments that go into those orders. Sometimes there's a special gift message. There's flights that are sent as gifts. So this week we had one of our customers sent the flight as a birthday present. There was a big birthday planned, and because of everything, the shelter in place, that birthday is postponed. And so they're celebrating the birthday by her sending a flight to her sister, and they're doing this live together from a distance, sharing some great wine. And I thought that was incredible. We also have another person that, which I thought this was the highlight of my week. I saw the note and I just started smiling. She sent it to the teacher of her son as a thank you for all of the hard work that these teachers are going through right now.
Oh.
As a parent, I can just say right now, huge shout out to every single teacher. You guys are working your tails off, and we appreciate everything that you're doing, and you deserve a flight of wine. You deserve more than a flight of wine.
Wow.
But I thought that was really neat that a customer bought a flight for a teacher of her son. So.
Well, that's awesome.
It is awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you very much, Shannon.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And
Cheers,
since
you
we
guys.
live together, I can come over here a little closer. Great work.
Thanks.
And Shannon doesn't like to get on TV too often, get in front of the
That's
camera.
why I drank my whole glass of wine.
Great, you did great. Thank you
right.
very much.
All right, enjoy, you guys.
Well,
Hard
David,
to compete.
Yeah,
Hard to
you
compete
gotta
with
fill
that.
those shoes, man.
Jeez.
Oh, that's good. That's some good stuff. I love it. Wow, that's awesome.
Now we all gotta send a flight of wine to our kids' teachers.
Oh, that's a good idea. Guilt. Hey, if you're just tuning in with us, again, welcome. One of your awesome friends maybe awesomely shared this video on their feed and you saw it. Welcome to our weekly Thursday night tasting flight. My name's Phil Ogilvie. This is David, our award-winning winemaker, and we do this every Thursday at 5. David, don't know about you, but I can listen to those awesome stories every week. I want to do them. I want to do these every week. Do you want to do these every week?
Sure, let's do it.
Do
I have a choice?
Well, they're
Of course we
awesome. And just like that, we can do awesome rosé all day, right?
Yeah, rosé all day.
That was the worst transition. I
You're
wanted
kind
that
of
to
a
be.
dork.
I tried to make that an awesome transition and it didn't work. I had it in my mind for the most awesome transitioning of transitions ever.
Get it out there. Get it out there.
We're
Keep
trying.
it going.
God. All right. Well, next time keep working on these transitions. But
Yeah.
let's dig into this rosé because this is the twist.
The rosé with a twist. Yeah. So this is our Valdiguié rosé, or Rosé of Valdiguié. This is not a Burgundy, and there's some fun history that goes along with this.
So Valdiguié is not one of the classic varietals of Burgundy.
Right. And when this was planted, so this vineyard on our family's vineyard, Wilson Vineyards, was planted 30 years ago, and when it was planted, it was called Napa Gamay.
Napa Gamay.
Napa Gamay. And Gamay is a region, is a town in Burgundy, in the southern part of Burgundy, I believe. And so funny enough, a lot of people call it Napa Gamay, or just call it Gamay. And it is completely not Gamay. Gamay is a whole other grape variety. It's a whole other grape variety that's actually quite similar, actually. You know, large clusters, big berries, light in color, and my Uncle Ken, our Uncle Ken, he still calls it Gamay. He calls it Gamay. I just say, you can't call it Gamay anymore. And
I mean, we would
in
get in
1980
trouble if we put Gamay
yeah,
on
we
this
can't.
label.
No one could put Gamay on the label. In 1980, Pierre Gallet did genetic testing and said, "Hey, this is not this thing you're calling Napa Gamay is not Gamay," and they traced it back to something called Valdiguié, which is from the Languedoc-Roussillon region in southern France.
Oh.
So it's not even in the Burgundy region that Gamay is in, and funny enough, people still called it Napa Gamay. And it wasn't until 2007 that the TTB finally said, hey, you cannot put Gamay anywhere on your label if you're selling, if the grapes are actually Valdiguié. And then people started putting Gamay Beaujolais on the label instead, and Beaujolais was like, wait a second, you can't do that. And Beaujolais, they grow Gamay. And so finally in 2009, they said no more of that either. And so you should not find any Valdiguié labeled as Gamay anymore. So that means that there are some more Valdiguié wines out there. However, most of the, well, maybe not most, but a lot of the Valdiguié that was planted back 30 years ago was for sparkling wine. And that's what our family planted it for, and we still sell it for to a sparkling house in Napa, or Sonoma. I take that back. And but for a sparkling, it's really nice. It goes into Blanc Noirs. It's a red grape, and what's great about it is it hangs on the vine for a long time and still keeps that acidity. So you can get the bricks up, and it takes its time, gets that phenolic ripeness, get a lot of fruit characters, but then still hold on to its acidity. And so I really like the grape for that reason. And I said, you know what? And actually, the other thing is it's hard to get color out of it. Which, when you're making sparkling wine and you're making a Blanc white from Blanc Noir, white from black, it's okay that it doesn't hold on to color very well. So I said, let's make a rosé out of this. And man, the fruitiness of this wine, you can stick your nose in there.
Have you ever seen a Rosé of Valdiguié before?
I haven't. We might be the only one.
Hey, cheers to that.
We might be the only Rosé of Valdiguié.
You know what they say, the tip of the spear gets blunted quickly. So, either this is a winner. You guys tell us. Is
this a winner
or not? I mean, this is our second vintage. The first vintage tasted great. The second vintage tastes great. I love it. I love what it's doing.
You'll find that it has that. You can get that good acidity. There's just this nice kind of pomegranate and bubblegum kind of, or tutti fruity bubblegum on there, and it's just, and maybe it's just subliminally going into my head because it just looks like bubblegum. It's pink, and but it's just it's one of my favorites. And talking about on a day like today in Clarksburg, we're pushing 80 degrees, getting up to 80 degrees, beautiful sunshine. This is tasting great.
And I'm hearing a lot of people say this is a winner. We gotta love it. Amishka, the smartest person in the room right now, she loves it. Nikki loves it. Matt Yates is a winner. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. Thank you very much for enjoying this wine.
And one of the other really cool things about this wine, which I found out recently, is, well, I was on a conference call with another vineyard manager down in Southern California, and he said, yeah, I grow. I said, what kind of grapes do you grow? And he listed all these varieties that he grows. And he said, anyways, we have this one obscure variety no one's heard of. I was like, what is that? He says, Valdiguié. I said, really? I said, I grow some Valdiguié. He said, no way.
How much?
I said, we're like the only two. And so it prompted me to look up how many acres of Valdiguié.
Good data. Leave it to David for some good data.
And
keep it going.
there's only 250 acres of Valdiguié planted in California.
And an acre, and most people don't know what an acre is. An acre, rough.
I know it's 43,560 square feet. That's
right. Don't you know? Yeah, everybody knows that. Think of like a football field. It's not exactly a football field, but think of a football field as 1 acre. So, 250 acres. In the grand scheme of how many acres of vineyard are in California, 250 is just nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, and so how many acres do we have?
So we have 15 acres, but just for you to get a better understanding of how little 250 acres is, if you look at Chardonnay, there is 95,000 acres of Chardonnay planted in California. And in Valdiguié, there's 250 acres. So there's just not a lot of this out there. So it makes me appreciate this wine so much more, knowing that there's not a lot of these grapes around, and we are lucky enough to, our family's lucky enough to grow some, and we get to make this wonderful wine out of it.
I mean, at 15 acres, you grow 6% of the Valdiguié in California, which you could probably say you grow 15% or 6% of the Valdiguié grown in the United States.
It's not commonly grown in
it's
any
not
other...
commonly grown outside of California.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sure.
and Gamay, on the other hand, there's some Gamay in California, and I should have looked that up, how much Gamay is in California. But there's Gamay has made a resurgence in Oregon. There's a good amount
good.
of
That makes sense.
But no Valdiguié in
No
Oregon.
Valdiguié.
Yeah.
Hey, well, we're gonna stay strong with this Valdiguié. You guys like it? We're gonna keep it going
Yeah.
until the vineyard doesn't produce anymore.
And
I mean,
shout out to my buddy Kenny from Hova Wines. If you want to try a good Valdiguié that's a red wine Valdiguié, he makes a great one.
Oh man, I'll be looking that up. We got some. We got some questions. Are you guys matching on purpose? Honestly, I was gonna wear my jacket.
I should fix that.
I mean, it's a twin thing. It happens.
It happens
more than you can imagine. Where all of a sudden we
go.
show up to work and we're both wearing.
Act proud right here.
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Stand for land-based learning.
Purple looks great on you, David. Purple
Thank you.
looks really good on
purple.
you. Son has lots to pair with both the Chard and Rosé. We need to set that up. Was a reply.
Oh yes.
Yes, I'm all for it.
So
and does Son have? Do you have a show after this one too? Like you do something every Thursday night.
She does something every.
Or is it
evening.
every day? Oh, it's before.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Every day since the shelter in place.
Check on that too. Xiong K. Okay, so let one more question on rosé, and then we're gonna move on. Rosé is typically made. I mean, you can make rosé out of any red wine, and we didn't really go into how rosé is made. Maybe a quick sentence there, and then why a Rosé of Valdiguié versus any other red grapes that we have.
Well, you weren't listening to me.
Well, I heard that part, but
that's it. So I like the idea of Rosé of Valdiguié because of the acidity, and then it's hard to get color out of it. So there's a few different ways or the two main ways to make a rosé are you take your red grapes and you pick them for red wine, and then you put them in the press, or you ferment the wine, or you get it in the tank, and then before it really picks up before the skins release a lot of color and everything, you bleed off some wine, and you get this pink wine or pink juice really, and then you ferment that separately. The other way to make rosé is you pick it to make a rosé, and so you pick it early to have that good acidity and everything, and that's how we made this wine. And then you ferment it on the skins until the color is right, and then you bleed it off the skins, you press it off the skins, and then you have your rosé wine. So and a lot of times you end up you don't ferment on the skins, you just put the wine in the press and you let it sit in the press until you start seeing the color that you want, and then you just start pressing those grapes, and then you get your juice.
Got another question. Why this bottle shape?
So this was one of my owner's decisions, and I stick by it. I love this bottle. This is a beautiful wine, and it deserved to be seen. So I wanted to go with this clear glass, and then I chose this bottle. Originally, it was going to go into a screw cap bottle like this, but clear glass. And this is a Burgundy bottle, and a lot of our wines are in that way. But I was looking at our Gewürztraminer bottle, and I just was visualizing in my head flint glass or clear glass with this pink hue. I just thought that's going to be beautiful, and so I decided to do it. You know, a lot of times this would connotate a bottle with this shape would connotate sweetness, but this wine really isn't that sweet. It's right around the average threshold for sweetness, about 2.5 grams per 100 milliliters. Excuse me. And so it was just a beautiful bottle. Let me know what you guys think.
I don't know. I think he chose well. One of the things I like, it seems like as it gets, you see the color variation from the different shape, and I just think it's a beautiful packaging. Great work. Okay, so Let's transition into our next segment. David, you've already been sharing so much cool data about acreage and everything, but you know, you're the smart twin, and so I always like to get my data by David.
Data by David. All right, so I learned something today, actually, from my good friend Ethan, that just really piqued my interest. So, so many people are out there buying their meals online and getting them delivered, or doing takeout and you know, curbside delivery or curbside pickup or whatever. You know, not just wine, but meals too, of course. And so someone came up with there's an outfit called the Morning Consult, which is a group that tracks trends and everything, and they found that 28% of overall 20% of people are more likely to use this type of service in the future. And then you break it down to millennials, and it's 33%. So, you know, this whole
what type of service?
This takeout service or online
like delivery.
Delivery.
Okay.
I assume delivery is a part of it, but takeout.
Takeout.
So curbside. You know, and that's something that I don't think was hugely popular before. I mean, it was getting there, but now we've all been kind of forced into that. And I think wine is following suit for sure, and all sorts of beverages. I mean, there's apps out there now to do that. So it's just I just found so interesting. And there are some restaurants who are doing that and combining that meal with wine, you know. And so you can, in the future, this will be a kind of a normal thing to order your meal with a bottle of wine, and instead of going into the restaurant, you're picking it up at the door and going home to enjoy it. So 33% of millennials are going to do it more.
Doing it more. Interesting. Well, with that, let's do another just shout out to say thank you to everybody that is sharing this feed. When you share, you care. Right? And you care. And you participate. Sharing is caring, right? And you participate in our mission to help people enjoy Clarksburg. I love that I got people laughing. I mean, what's more fun than watching two twin brothers talk about wine? And I mean, you're doing a great thing when you share this feed to help your friends and not only enjoy Clarksburg, but learn about wine from a smart twin, have fun with the goofy twin, and we're just having fun in doing this. So thank you for sharing.
Let's just drink the Pinot Noir.
Let's go to the Pinot Noir. Let's switch over to the Pinot Noir. I am not working on my transitions well enough. These transitions are suck today. Dang it. I can do better. I'll do better next week. Tune in.
All right.
Tune into next week when my transitions are a little bit more polished.
Next.
Sharing is caring.
Next, we've got our wonderful Pinot Noir.
Oh, this one's so good.
So, this is our 2016 Pinot. Hope everyone has enjoyed this in the past, but if you haven't, just dig your nose into this bowl. Oh my gosh, this is a wonderful wine. So, this came. Just remind me about glassware. So this
Glassware.
Let me just. I'll say this is 55% from Wilson Vineyards. The rest came from another Clarksburg vineyard. The bulk of it is clone 667, and then the rest is 115, clone 115. 115 is a smaller clone, smaller berries. You get a lot of good color and some tannin from that clone. And then the 667 has a lot of aromatics, and it's not a large cluster by any means, and not large berries, but a little larger than the 115. And
how many of you guys even knew that there were clones of Pinot Noir? I mean, this is the kind of knowledge you get from this educational experience.
So Pinot Noir is, if you guys listen to the Reclamation Series one, and if you haven't, go back and listen to it. It's really good. Yeah. But the Reclamation one, I talked about blends and how blending for a winemaker is just a lot of fun because you can make something that's better than any of the other individual wines on their own. But Pinot Noir is kind of the same way with clones. There's so many different clones of Pinot Noir, and winemakers like to find different clones and then make their resulting blend just that much better. And so clones are used in that way, just to find one that has great aromatics, one that has better color, some has tannin. It's a lot of fun as you're painting with a paintbrush. This wine was fermented in stand still, but then aged in new and neutral French oak. Aged for 18 months before we bottled it, and just when we first bottled it, I mean, it was good. It was good. We all loved it. And what's great about this wine, and from the get-go, it was a strong, real, authentic Pinot Noir.
Right.
And a lot of people don't think you can do that in Clarksburg.
Right.
And we're saying, yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
But people don't typically grow it to express to be this amazing Pinot. They're growing for a different price point typically.
Usually. So, but then what we found is when we bottled this wine was actually quite a big wine with a decent amount of tannin for Pinot Noir. I mean, Pinot Noir is a lighter style red wine,
right.
But as it has aged and evolved, it has just changed every 6 months. Well, more than that, but let's say every 3 months, I really kind of focus on this wine and see how it has evolved. And over time, it has just become so much more aromatic. You're getting these really kind of cherry jam kind of flavors with that. I describe it as Pinot Funk, and you don't really understand what Pinot Funk is until you drink a lot of Pinot Noir and you become a Pinophile.
Right.
But they're just this wine has so much Pinot Funk in it, and just has a bit of that leathery pencil kind of thing going on as well.
I want to share a story about the Pinot. I'm the numbers guy. I oversee the business side of things, and so I was looking at the numbers. And when we launched with this wine. This is a 2016. We'll talk about that in a sec. But when we launched, this was one of our first wines, and we're really proud of it. But I'll say it. We were nervous because we recognized that it needed to age, and we wanted it to age. But when you open a tasting room, you got to have a little wine. You got to make sure you've got something in the to sell. And it was. And we have a thing. It's like we're not gonna sell a bottle before it's ready. Well, and David's in control of that. David chooses when we can sell these wines or not. And it was like a week before. It was like, okay, yeah, let's go ahead, let's put it on. It's ready enough, and it was doing fine. The sales were fine. I mean, people that love Pinot loved our Pinot. I mean, I think we were getting some awards. I mean, it was fine, but it wasn't like our number one seller or anything. And then it was about like 9 months in or 10 months in, all of a sudden, I was looking at these numbers. Our Pinot Noir is our number one seller this week. What's going on? And I text Dave and I say, have you tasted the Pinot lately? And all of a sudden, it just started coming into its own. And Pinot Noir, they call it the queen, right? Or it's delicate, or the princess. It's a delicate wine, and it takes time. It's going to take its time. And I think of it's like a cat. You can never call a cat. Cat's never going to come to you. This Pinot Noir is going to do what it wants to do. And when it's ready, it's going to be amazing. And it's going to let you enjoy this wine.
Pinot Noir is one of those grape varieties actually not that easy to grow. It gets mildew. It needs the right amount of sunlight, and it can't have too much shade. And, if you look at it cross-eyed, it kind of starts molding and stuff, or get botrytis or something. And so you kind of really have to take care of it. And then once you get in the winery, you kind of really have to take care of it. It will lose its color really quickly. It does funny things in the winery. And so it's kind of one of those things where you want to get it right and then get it in the bottle and let it just age in the bottle.
And it's aged well, for sure. What, as you've tasted it over, I mean, it was harvested in 2016. It was bottled in 2018. As you've tasted it, what have you seen change over time? How is this wine? Maybe a better way to say it is, how is this wine different today than maybe somebody tasted it a year ago.
So now the fruit component, before it was like a fruity lollipop. I mean, it was just like a lot of intense fruit and this oak, and now everything's just kind of married and blended together, and then these other kind of aromas of I don't know, bacon fat and that leathery component is really kind of coming through as that fruit, as the wine ages, the fruit component kind of softens a bit, and it allows some of the other aromas to shine, and so it's just turning into a wonderful wine. And then in the mouth, it's refreshing even, and I'd even serve this wine chilled. It's just a wonderful wine that has that good acidity that we have in Clarksburg, and I don't know, it's been one of my favorites. And you might be asking, why do you have so much of it? Is it not selling? Well, we made so much.
It was so good.
We made a lot of this Pinot Noir because we thought we had a sales channel that didn't quite work out, and we said, well, there's nothing wrong with this wine. Let's just keep selling it, and let's bottle it all. And so we bottled it all, and it's been our tried and true, and it's a great wine. So
it's been great. It's doing well. And mentioning chilled, our picnic flight is coming up in a couple weeks. We're actually going to bring the Pinot Noir back for the picnic flight, but we want to encourage you to enjoy it just a little chilled. And that's one of the cool things about Pinot Noirs. You can chill them down a little bit, and you get another tasting experience. And as they warm up, you get to discover how it changes as they warm up and everything.
It's changed quite a bit.
I want to give one shout out. I got to give
wine glasses.
I didn't.
So
I wrote it down and I forgot to bring it up.
Jeff Henry asked about wine glasses, and when you're doing a Burgundy tasting, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, you'll often see a large, bold wine glass, which is considered a Burgundy glass, and that is because they want you to swirl and have that big bowl for all those aromatics, and then you get into the center and you smell a wonderful wine. Bordeaux glasses are not as wide, bold. This glass actually is somewhere in between. True Burgundy glass comes out quite a bit and kind of bowls around with a narrow opening at the top, and then a Bordeaux glass will kind of come straight up or curved in a little bit at the top. But anyway, that's the whole thing with Burgundy versus Bordeaux wine glasses.
We got one very, very focused question. It's an interesting question. It's very important, I think, because people get these two wines confused often. Have you ever created a wine using a Pinot Meunier?
I have not created wine with Pinot Meunier, but it is a commonly grown. Pinot Meunier is another one of those red wines that are commonly used for sparkling production, for a Blanc Noir.
Oh, somebody said, I'm craving fried chicken. Ooh, that would be a good...
I'm craving
fried chicken. That would be interesting.
Sounds good.
Actually,
I had the rosé with fried rice that I made last night, and it was fantastic.
River City Wine Week over on Instagram suggests barbecue chicken or pork with a slightly chilled Pinot Noir.
Yeah, definitely.
Cheers to you, Pinot.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about food pairing with these wines today. I apologize.
You want to throw some in there?
I mean, definitely with the Pinot. Whenever I'm cooking lamb at home or duck, I love the Pinot.
Oh, yeah.
And even Chardonnay. Chardonnay is what I use while I'm cooking, and then with the meal, I have the Pinot. But with the Chardonnay, go for those like kind of creamy pastas or poultry. That cream sauce, like just because that Chardonnay has such great acidity that it can cut through that, and the aromatics on that Chardonnay can pair with those really well, even like a Caesar salad. And then the rosé should pair with anything. It's just good. It's good wine. But
the reason you can pair with anything is that high acid, right?
Yeah, I mean high acidity is gonna help that wine pair with a lot of different foods. I also like, if you think of cheeses, I always say if you're gonna pair wine with cheese, pair with the cheese that you like to eat. But these wines, especially the Chard and the Rosé, that triple cream brie, so good. Saint Andre or something like that. It's just so good with these. So anyway, any food pairing questions, just shoot us a message.
One question was, how long can these keep? I'm guessing. Let's answer that, both sides of that question. They've been opened. How long can you hold on to these wines? You can hold them. Put a cork back into the Chardonnay. Use the screw cap, and put the cork back in the Pinot Noir. Put them in the fridge. You're just trying to keep oxygen out. You're going to be able to hold these wines for 5 days, around there, depending on how you keep them. But
if you're using one of those vacuum kind of like pump things, then 5 days. I would say more like 3 days. After 3 days, you're going to lose a lot of the fruit in the rosé and the Chardonnay for that matter. But I mean, the wine still tastes good. It's not like you're going to have a wine that doesn't taste good anymore.
I'll be honest, I've never held on to a wine more than a couple days. So David knows better than I do. So,
but then the Pinot Noir, Pinot is one of those wines that really does age well, and they just start taking on these new flavors. So you can open this wine, have this much left in the bottle, leave it on the counter for 2 days, and go back to it, and it will be really interesting. And that action is actually, you cover it obviously, but that action, that oxygenation of the wine, is actually an aging process. And so you'll be able to see what this wine will be like in, say, 10 years if you leave it on the counter for 2 days after opening it. So
that's great.
I've done it. It's pretty good. Well, 24 hours. Maybe 48 is a little long for our household.
Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Stephen McConnell. He's a friend of Clarksburg. He lives down in SoCal, but he has been a huge fan of Clarksburg, of Silt Wine Company, giving us some love on his blog, on his website, on his social media. But
Wine 1%. Right?
He has a blog called Wine 1, the number 1%, wine1%.com, and he wrote an amazing review of this Clarksburg Pinot, and he was surprised, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was surprised.
I met Stephen McConnell down at, I went to the World of Pinot Noir conference down in Santa Barbara, and met him down there, and we talked, and I said, I'll knock your socks off with my Pinot Noir from Clarksburg. And he said, what? Leave me a couple bottles. And so I gave him a couple bottles, and he wrote us a very nice review. So, and I respect his critique of any wine. So.
Yeah, he does a great job. I call him a new age wine critic. He's doing a lot of great writing, and he's just a fantastic writer to begin with. Anyway, go check out, if you search for Clarksburg on his website, you'll see some great reviews that he's done of Clarksburg.
He did.
He's honest.
He reviewed our Shannon and maybe our Gewurz too.
I think so. A while ago. But check out his blog. If you find the blog post on the Pinot Noir, comment on it and make sure he sees that, and say that you heard about his wine blog via our virtual wine tasting. He doesn't like virtual wine tasting, so I think funny.
He made a post about virtual wine tasting, and I commented and said, hey, it helps wineries bring in some money in this crazy time. So,
Anyway, hey, we're gonna zoom quick through this one. Question of the week.
Oh,
David's got a good haircut going on. David, your hair is looking pretty sharp. I feel like my hair is just going crazy. When was the last time you had a haircut? I was supposed to get a haircut like the week everything shut down, and I'm gonna start getting clippers in my own hands here pretty soon, and that's not gonna be pretty.
Or Shannon's hands. It's easier if someone else does it.
Shannon won't do that. Shannon will not cut my hair. She's too nervous, and rightfully so. I'm a little high maintenance on my hair.
I was nervous for Anna, my wife, to cut my hair, and then I finally couldn't take it anymore, and she did a very good job.
She did a great job. I gave you compliments the very next day. I was very impressed. Good job, Anna. Great work. Maybe I'll come see you. I dare you to cut my hair. She won't touch it. Anyway, hey, let us know when it was the last time you got your hair cut, and are you going to cut your own hair also? Anyway, hey, we're concluding. Just by way of review, this is our Burgundy Flight with a twist. You've tasted our Chardonnay, our Rosé of Valdiguié, and our Pinot Noir. We introduced a new segment called Well, That's Awesome. and I look forward to doing those. Those are fun, and we'll have some more info there. We got some rosé all day. I didn't mention, I totally get off the nose on that rosé. I get that really good, strong patio pounder on the nose. Yeah, do you get
You
that?
had to mention that, yeah. Definitely.
I got that patio pounder on the nose, and then that picnic delight on the palate was
finish,
just
yeah.
that finish is picnic delight, just really good. I'm very impressed.
I get it. Yeah, you're right.
Very good job. Very good job. So we got to see Shannon, my beautiful wife, and our tasting room manager. And then, you know what? No giveaway today. I didn't want to just throw something in to make it work, but I've got something in the works. I'm working on something. We're trying to figure some cool stuff out. Hey, coming up is our bonfire flight right here, I believe. Our bonfire flight is already sold a bunch.
I can't wait for this one too.
This one's gonna be fun. So if you like your reds, everybody's like, I'm gonna wait for the reds. And man, 3 reds. And they are all these great, robust wines that have some great balance. David's done a great job with these wines. We've got the Cabernet, we've got a Petit Syrah, and a Syrah. And we're going to be able to talk about the differences between Syrah and Petit Syrah. A lot of people think they're similar or the same. They're really not, except they're both red grapes. But we're going to go through in depth next week on those. You can go in and go to our website. Everything's up there already. We're already taking orders. You can go ahead and buy those. We're going to ship them to you for 1 cent. We're going to take care of the shipping there for you. And we'd love your help in sharing that information. This video right here is going to go on the website at the on the page for the Burgundy Flight. So if you missed out, you're watching, you didn't have the flight in front of you, and you want to go ahead and watch the flight, you can go ahead and do that with some friends. And go ahead and purchase the flight. And then, of course, as you see this on social media, sharing is caring. And you go ahead and participate in our mission to help people enjoy Clarksburg as much as we do. So please keep joining us every Thursday.
Try that rosé right now after the Pinot Noir. It's amazing.
Yeah. So with that, I wish I had some. Can I get some rosé for the fight for the final toast? We got our final toast.
Yeah. If you finish that, sure.
Yeah, I will. Start opening that rosé. Oh, that's good. That. Sorry, I'm a couple glasses in, right? And I've missed all my transitions. I've just done a horrible job this week. So keep joining us over the next several weeks. It's every Thursday night tasting flight at 5 p.m. It's time for our final toast. David, I pass it on to you first.
I'm gonna give a toast to my wife Anna and our 2 sheep, Belly and Jackie. Jackie delivered twins yesterday morning at 5:45 a.m. and Belly delivered twins 10 minutes before we started shooting live. So I've got to run home and help and all that, and they're so adorable. If you're friends with me on Facebook, you'll see a bunch of pictures. But a toast to life and nature taking its course and doing good things is beautiful.
That's so cool.
So,
and hey, I look.
Sheep.
Twins running the family.
Twins running the family.
Hey, my toast this week goes out to John Krasinski. You're the man. What you're doing with the SGN, Some Good News, and everything. If you haven't seen his segments on YouTube, search it. Some Good News. He's got a channel dedicated. Man, my family loves watching those. John, I wish the best to you and your wife Emily, that you continue to do these good news as long as you can. I hope to see you at 80 years old doing some good news. And we just love them. Our family loves them. And if you haven't seen them yet, go ahead and take a look at it. Obviously, my segment of, well, that's awesome, comes in part by the genius of Some Good News. So cheers to that. And we all could use some good news in our lives as much as possible. And with that, I will say cheers And thank you for enjoying Clarksburg as much as we do.
Sharing is caring.